Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. With all the discussion over the last few weeks or so, will Scump step away when the next game comes around? What is his future within OpTic as an organisation? Shotzzy has made it very clear indeed after the revelation that he has been for OpTic, not just in terms of content, in terms of ability, but also personality as well, that he is not planning to leave OpTic anytime soon, and actually says that he's never going to leave this organisation. Very much enjoy to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty to dive into today. First of all, just wanted to start with this because as Crim points out, it's a Call of Duty's coming to the Big Apple. He definitely doesn't write these tweets. I just tell him to tweet this stuff out there because he got the links and stuff. But pretty sure tickets still available and stuff for July 14th through the 17th, which is going to be the it's going to be the King Theatre, Brooklyn, New York, Major 4. He goes now how it is at this point. So yeah, pretty sure. I don't know how quickly the passes sold out for the Toronto events, but I think they're kind of the premium ones did. Not sure if they've kind of got any special passes here because Toronto, I think they had like the special passes that if you got there early, you could actually get interaction with the players and like special merchandise and kit and stuff. So I think most people say that kind of the Toronto events set the bar for how to do it so far, like in the CDL era, which is exciting stuff to see. We'll see if New York can kind of keep up with that one, right? But it's only about a month away until Major 4 kicks off. Now, wanted to mention this as well. So Snap Season actually comes out on the Reddit here and puts a few of these clips up, which honestly, some of these sniper spots are really interesting indeed here on Desert Siege, and I'm sure there's more than just he points out. I think a lot of people have been finding these, have been pointing these out, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised at all if some of these teams were saving these spots for champs. Because I mean, we haven't really seen any of these used so far, and I am absolutely certain that some of the pros will have discovered some of these, if not even more than these than we're kind of seeing in this video right here. So there's that one you can get up on the ledge. It's an interesting kind of ledge angle, actually, that one when you're standing kind of in front of where he is now, just because you're kind of exposed up there, but it does kind of give you a bit of an off angle if you hit your shots. This is honestly a fantastic one. Jump on this box, kind of creep around this wall right here, get this angle, which is going to be a crazy difficult angle to expect and prepare for. So this one's kind of more of an off angle, I think, here on Desert Siege, but definitely some interesting sniper spots and some ideas here that I'm sure some teams were waiting on, because you guys may well remember, if you guys don't watch Modern Warfare Champs in 2020, when Illy brought out the kind of unexpected sniper spot for the Dallas Empire. I think they were playing FaZe at the time. I'm pretty sure maybe the winners finals or something. It was a Gunrunner search and destroy. He had a really nice spot where he could stand on top of a Jeep way back on the map on Gunrunner and see all the way through one of the hard points and actually see the bomb. And that was a pretty interesting spot that no one had really... I imagine they'd found it for quite some time, but effectively just waited to the World Championships to pull it out, right? So we'll have to see if this actually happens, because I wouldn't be surprised. And we know that champs means more than all the other events. You want to win champs. Like, it's always an interesting question. Would you rather win every event of the season and not win champs, or not win any events of the season and then win champs, right? It's always an interesting one, that, because I think that if you've placed, like, let's say you placed second every event and then won champs, as FaZe might do this year, I think that's an awful lot better, because it kind of shows you were there or thereabouts all season and then you finally won the big one when it mattered and the pressure was on. I think that's a lot better than kind of, winning all the other events but then, coming last at champs or something. But it's always an interesting one whether kind of who prefers what. But champs obviously matters more than every other event, and therefore teams will pretty much save things for it. Special spots like this, they won't use until champs comes around. And there's probably more than just these that have been discovered. And as Arcitys says, I can't tell if you're serious, but don't expose, please. There's probably other ones and other maps as well that some of these teams have prepared. Wouldn't be surprised if the OpTic guys like Shotzzy and stuff and Cellium as well has got some ideas prepared as well for the World Championship. So we'll see if any of this stuff comes out over the next few weeks as well. Because if you're, for example, a New York subliners, right, and you need to absolutely every point you could possibly get, you're probably going to bring out everything you can before champs, because the goal at the end of the day is actually to get there rather than to use it when you do, if of course you don't. Now, as OpTic say, 2 weeks until the Major 4 qualifiers. Think of course Friday, 2 weeks time, that's when everything kicks off once again. Interesting really, because it's a 2.5 week break, but it does feel rather long. Like I think maybe 1.5 weeks makes more sense. At least it's not a month like it was before. That was absolutely tragic. But this from Scump said he actually gets a lot of likes on this, and understandably so, because he saves this rabbit, this bunny here, from his kind of drain on his pool. It's kind of a nice pool here, like a decent setup for Scump, as you might well expect. But yeah, went for a dip, and of course, well, this rabbit was in the drain. He saves the rabbits. Fantastic scenes from Scump right here. And the bunny savior right here, so he kind of has a plastic bag or whatever, so he doesn't get bitten. You never know with the bunnies. They could go a bit rogue. But I thought this is funny, first of all, just because there's always been a big talking point about this, and Scump's actually made a point on it, that effectively when he's a bit bigger, like carrying a bit more weight around, he actually plays better in Call of Duty. When he was jacked back in the day, you guys have probably seen some of the clips or some of the photos, like he was actually played worse in Call of Duty. Reckon that maybe a bit more weight around the midsection is actually better to play better in Call of Duty. Apparently, Simp says, wait, if you started cutting, you'd actually be final. And Scump's like, I'm actually trying to lose weight actively right now, but I can't cut too hard during the season because I don't want to mess myself up gameplay wise, right? So he's always said this now for a few years. I don't know if there's really any truth to this, right? Because you've seen in COD and other esports as well, Passion your biceps in CSGO, Doug Sintomas in Call of Duty, by example. Like, you know, these guys, they carry a lot of muscle around and they're absolutely fine in the game. But Scump seems to reckon that there's an inverse correlation between how muscle, because he said something about like if you're lifting a lot of weights, the calluses on your hands and stuff don't work too well, make you a little bit less kind of mobile maybe, or less accurate on the stick. So, you know, like I'm gonna say Scump's probably got more knowledge on this than I have, but I always thought it's kind of funny because he brings this up more often than let's say most other players do. Probably was maybe there or thereabouts as well. Scump gives the rabbit some lettuce here. I think he went and gives him some grass afterwards, because lettuce might not always be that great for rabbits. Not exactly sure on the food, but I think like grass is maybe just the way to go. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this, right? Because of course Scump and Envoy last season, they were, I mean, briefly they were what, the Delta duo last year at OpTic Chicago, because they both, you know, tested positive in advance of ahead of the World Championship, just made it out there regardless. But there was all this talk last year, right? And there's been a talk for a few years now in Call of Duty. When is Scump going to retire? When's he going to step away? Now, of course, like it could happen this year, it could happen next year. I honestly doubt it's going to happen for a couple more years. He always talks about it, he always baits about it. Dashy said a few weeks ago that he doesn't reckon there's any real truth to Scump stepping away, and he'll give Modern Warfare 2 a go. But he has said himself that he wants this game to be good. If it's not good, he might step away. Like, he could do some crazy stuff on the content side. You think about what some of these former players, the likes of Shroud and these type of guys are doing. Scump could be one of those guys if he wants to be, but the future is there for him to do that. And like, you know, I think Scump maybe realizes himself, and other the players that are on the team and competing, they realize there's nothing quite like working towards a goal with a team and achieving it. Like, well, that you don't really get that kind of thrill if you just go into creating content for the rest of your life, and that's always going to be there. And I'm sure to a degree, Scump is looking at the fact that Crimsix has won an event this year, Slash has won an event this year, Accuracy's won an event this year now as well. Like all these, you know, older veteran guys. Scump, of course, also won an event back in Major 1, right? So they know, they well realize, and he well knows and realizes that he can keep competing at this level if he wants to. And of course, we're hoping that he's going to be around in Call of Duty for at least, you know, 2-3 more years, whatever it might be. But if he does decide to step away, the question was there last year, who's the Scump replacement effectively? Who's the personality that comes through, like kind of carries OpTic for the next generation? And like Envoy was kind of thought to maybe be that guy, gets stepping alongside Scump, the king, the prince, you know, all that type of stuff that went down last year. Envoy, of course, ends up not being part of this team going forwards, and it's Shotzzy that effectively steps in to seemingly fill those shoes. And I think Shotzzy's done a phenomenal job. Like, look, he's just here being himself. He's unbelievable at the game, incredibly talented, exciting player to watch, but also great, fun personality that fits so well with the OpTic culture, right? So Shotzzy's made it clear that, like, look, he's not looking to go anywhere. He was even playing Modern Warfare the other day. I mean, look at this, right? I mean, Modern Warfare, this game was terrible, but it's crazy the way the nostalgia goggles work in Call of Duty, because watching it actually looks like quite, I think it's just because I'm watching Shotzzy play that looks fun, but like, I don't know, Modern Warfare was definitely terrible at the time, but when you think back at it and look back at it, like, it seems somehow better than it was. I don't know, I think it's a COD cycle, baby. It's getting me again, to be honest. Maybe it's just because I'm comparing this to Vanguard, in which case this game actually, you know, was better in fair play. So, you know, I don't know, but I mean, Shotzzy, he says right here that he's absolutely not going to go anywhere and is never going to leave OpTic as an organization.
I wish I was recording.
Good tank.
I didn't know I was gonna need a 1v5.
Yeah, that kid's pissed. He's behind you too. I got time. Yeah. He's above me? Oh, that's okay. Top up. Maybe he's to the center.
Would OpTic sell you for 5 million? That's a question for OpTic, not anyone. I'm not, dude. I'm never leaving OpTic, dude. Ever. You just have my word, man. And if I leave OpTic, yo, clip this and then tweet me whenever. Oh my gosh. 3, 2, 1.
So we don't know what the future holds here, but we do know that Shotzzy is just still so young. He's got so many years ahead of him in his career. And of course, like, I'm sure Scump would have said back in the day when he first joined OpTic that he was probably never going to leave. But then, you know, briefly after that, he then had the whole Envy shenanigans. If you guys remember back in the early Ghost days, I think was it January 2014 or December 2013 when Scump left to join Envy for 2 weeks. Parasite then was an OpTic for like a few days while they tested out a new roster. And then Scump came back to OpTic. But of course, you know, actually did become a part of Envy when the OpTic Envy merger went down last year. But like, look, you can never really know whether players are going to leave, whether other opportunities come along. Like, let's say like Scump retires and the OpTic team falls off, and then Shotzzy gets an opportunity on FaZe, the best team in the game. Like, you know, who knows what happens there? But I honestly doubt he's going to go away anytime soon. He seems to fit and mesh so perfectly well with the organization, with the culture, with the future of the team, and with the players as well on the roster. Like with Ilias, he's there right now, with Dashy as well. Who knows how long Scump's going to be there? But that SMG duo is perfect, seemingly on so many levels. And I think this is great news for OpTic in general, because if there's one guy that you want to still be a part of your roster for many years to come. And also the risk with Shotzzy is that, let's say he doesn't like COD so much, he could go back to Halo and still become a world championship winning Halo player. Like, I guess if he was to do that, he wants to stay on the OpTic organization in general, but I think certainly his commitment is to Call of Duty for at least the near and probably midterm future right now. And if you are OpTic, Shotzzy is kind of the key piece of the puzzle that you definitely need to be keeping on your team if you want to be able to compete long term and consistently win championships against the likes of FaZe and all the other strong squads you have. Because as we've said many times before on this channel, the SMG duo on your team is key, and Shotzzy effectively is the crucial part of that. Because last year I think the SMG duo of Scump and Envoy wasn't so perfect in terms of their roles and the way they meshed together, whereas Scump and Shotzzy seem to work perfectly. Any player really alongside Shotzzy is going to have a great time. So definitely intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Wanted to mention this as well while we're on the topic of OpTic, because IU Turtle puts a really nice article together here at Breaking Point. There's actually more to this than I'm about to share with you guys. If you want to check it out, well, please see the link in the description box below, all that type of stuff. But these are the 5 key stats or 5 most interesting statistics so far this season for OpTic. So this is the fact that in Control, they are the best Control team in the game for now. It definitely hasn't been so great the last few weeks or so, but they actually they're the only CDL team to average above 4 offensive tick captures per offensive round. That is very impressive actually, because I mean, look, most teams, it's really tough to get more than 3. A lot of situations you get the A point, you can't get the B points. They average over 4 per offensive rounds, which are very impressive. The next best team to that is Toronto with a 3.85. Of course, it is, well, helped a fair bit by Dashy with a 1.35 Control KD, which is absolutely absurd. They won 14 straight Control maps, of course, back in Stage 1 all the way through to Stage 2 before they lost to Seattle Surge in the first round of Major 2. That, of course, was a record, beating Toronto's record from last season. 12 Series 1 in a row this year. They just fell short of breaking FaZe's record of 13 last year in Cold War. And this is also rather interesting. Whenever they lose hardpoints, OpTic are 27 and 15 in hardpoints. That's pretty impressive, averaging 228 points per map. That means, though, that when they lose, they still average over 200 points. They're the only team to do this, which means they're always competitive in hardpoint. Whenever they lose, they're still averaging over 200, which is rather impressive. And also, they've got 11-1 series so far this season in terms of sweeps. They got reverse swept, or they got swept, 3-0 by Seattle Surge in Major 2, but they've 3-0'd people 11 times so far this season, which is honestly a pretty similar record to FaZe last year, even though they didn't get swept 1 time, which is kind of incredible from their perspective. Yes, Major 4 is coming up very soon indeed. Major 4 mode, New York getting ready to go. It's actually not that soon in fairness, but it's, well, not too far away, but it's going to be massive for so many teams. We've got the qualifiers coming up, but even whichever way the qualifiers go, all of that good work that some teams can do in the qualifiers can get undone in an instant at the majors, right? Like even Minnesota Rokkr, for example, they went 5-0 in their kind of qualifier matches, but only came top 8 at the major. That only gives them 60 points across everything there, whereas winning the entire thing for Seattle Surge gave them 65 on their own. So, whatever happens in these qualifiers, it's really the major that's going to determine the seeding and probably going to determine who gets to the World Championship as well. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tell us your YouTube gods, this is a good video, and I was like you should see it as well. And I'm great at the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.